makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. I hope you are having a great start to 2023. In today's episode of Female Founders, we are going to have a conversation with Melanie McSally. She is the founder of WyzeTribe, a company that helps positive changemakers to make the biggest impact by providing affordable, done-for-you technology services. Good morning, Melanie. You are the founder and CTO of WyzeTribe that helps entrepreneurs save time, energy while maximizing the profit. What led you to a career in technology?
So I've been a software engineer since 2003, I believe. So it's been a while. I kind of fell into it by accident, but I really loved it and stuck with it. And here we are.
When you say by accident, it was kind of like someone offered you a position, or it's just kind of like...
No, I started out as a pastry chef, and really, I went down that road because I was bullied in undergrad school, elementary, middle, high school, and so I really felt like when I would graduate from high school, I would be done with school altogether because I associated the two together, and because it went on for so long, and so I was done. But my mom was having none of that, so she's like, "I don't care what you do, I don't care where you go, I don't care for how long, but you will get a degree of some sort." And the one thing I really loved to do at that time in life was bake, and so I started off in pastry school, and I had some early successes that changed my mindset. But I knew overall baking wasn't for me. And so I was kind of just flipping through the course catalog and looking at the careers that aligned with my goals and also aligned with what I knew I was good at and what my natural talents were. And computers just was something I picked. And at the time, because this was pre-internet boom, I didn't really know exactly what software engineering meant. But I knew I didn't want to put computers together. So I tried it out and I loved it and stuck with it.
Wow, that's awesome. So how did the idea of starting your own business come to you?
So I worked my way up the ladder. I became, an executive working in the C-suite. And I just realized at one point in time that the higher you got up the ladder, the harder it was to accomplish things, because the business is looking at the bottom line. They're looking at many factors, right? And I just felt like I was born to make a bigger impact in life. And I felt like I was being limited by those that I was working for. And I kind of realized like people were making money off of my ideas, but the money they were making wasn't helping to move the needle and change the world for the better. And so I thought I could make a bigger impact by helping entrepreneurs, by serving them to be able to serve others and therefore make a bigger impact in the world.
Well, that's amazing. But you founded WyzeTribe. Can you tell us more about the company and also the services it offers?
Yeah, so I look for the heart-centered change makers of the world, the entrepreneurs, the small business to medium business owners, even leaders within organizations that are really looking to leave the world better than they found it. And once I find them, we become a full tech shop for them. So we do everything from websites and graphics to automated funnels and workflows and marketing and all sorts of stuff.
So it's pretty much like a one-stop shop. So you can handle everything for them from, would you say, from starting the business to growing the business?
Yes, absolutely. So we want your technology to meet you where you're at and then help you grow your business by working for you as, like scaling for you and with you. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the important things, especially for a startup. A lot of time they don't really know everything, what they need to do.
Exactly.
So having that type of guidance is important.
Exactly. And our values are to save you time, money, and energy so that you can work less but serve more.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
So I like the idea, the way that you decided to start the business. Even when you talk about working in corporate world, it's that makes a lot of sense. And not only that, that's something I felt too when I was working in corporate, is that you work every day, you work so hard, and sometimes until like 8 p.m., 10 p.m. at night. And I felt like they're making so much money and I'm making so little money. And I don't see any impact really in the world, really. And I felt like, I don't know if you've ever seen that small businesses make a way bigger impact, way, way bigger. People just don't realize it, but they are, because they are helping the people that's probably not in the top, that's in the bottom, but those are the people who actually really need the help in the first place. So I love the idea when you say that's what pushed you to start your own business.
Yeah, I mean, I think all companies make an impact, whether that impact aligns with the one you want to make or not is really the bottom line here, right? And nothing needs to be permanent. You don't have to stay in a job. You can, move to another company if you still want the security, but you want to make a different kind of impact in the world. Or you can start your own business if you just want to have a full say in what your impact is and how you're going to serve the world.
Exactly. So you are a profit optimization and technology expert, and that is something that's very unique. How did your interest in this area, how did you decide that, okay, I'm going to take technology and then profit and then mix them together to help small business?
So most of the people that specialize in profit optimization that have financial background will look for the ways for you to make more money. And when you look at the same topic from a technology perspective or from an optimization perspective, we look at the ways that you can save money and get more ROI for your efforts. And so, let's just take a widely known example. If you're in corporate America and you have 5 people standing at the water cooler gossiping for 30 minutes, and you take the average salary of those 5 people and you cut it, down to half-hour increments, now you know how much money you just lost, right?
Yes.
And so I could tell you how to make more sales and I could tell you how to increase your profit margins on your sales, but I could also show you all the waste in your business. And as soon as you cut that out, your profit margin increases.
Wow.
Yeah. So you might not be bringing more money into the bank account, but you'll save more. And so you'll watch less go out.
Exactly. You're saving from places that doesn't worth you spending on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, just for clarity, like everybody deserves a break and we shouldn't subtract that against our bottom line. But there's a difference between taking breaks and then just gabbing.
Yes,
right.
A big difference.
Right. And if you think about what usually happens at the water cooler is people are gabbing about things that are going wrong, right? And so that's negative energy, which attracts more people to come join the conversation. So now you're not only losing more money, but you're infecting more people with this negative energy, and negative energy spreads like a virus. So now you're wasting even more money because you have all this negative energy, which slows down productivity, and you have physical people not actually working, which is just wasting you money.
Wasting a lot of money, especially for small business. You don't have that type of money to waste.
Exactly. And small businesses usually don't have a lot of employees. Some of them are solopreneurs where they're working with virtual assistants. And so you got to be really conscious of your time and money because you're doing everything, right? And so a way to optimize that is to get some computers to do some of that work for you. And this is not,
and that's where you come in.
Exactly. And this is not to say let's have a bunch of bots and let's have a bunch of cold, uncustomized emails. Like, you can customize your automation. You can still personalize things. But it's just taking the stuff off your plate that doesn't need to be performed by you, so that you can focus your energy on, what you do best and why your clients love you.
I agree with that. And also, talking about clients love you, your client seems to love you a lot. Don't get me, I'm very nosy, so I did some deep research. So your client seems to really, really, when I say love you, they really love you. So can you tell me why they call you the fixer?
Yeah. So the first time this ever happened, I was 4 years old, and, my dad was a master plumber. And so there was always projects around the house. He was always on a construction site. And so there was a wheelbarrow from Home Depot. So it hadn't been put together yet. It was sitting on the deck, and I was 4, and I just saw this thing that needed to be put together, but I didn't know how to read or anything. So I just kind of figured it out. And my parents came home and they asked my sister, who's 7 years older than me, "Did you do it?" And she's like, "Do you know me?" No. And I was like, "I did it." I was so proud of myself, and they were like, "How?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It was a puzzle. I put it together, And I kind of just look at life like that. Is like, I just kind of look for the better way. When I see people struggling, when I see people suffering, when I see hardship, when I see things wrong in the world, I just think to myself, there's got to be a better way. Right. And I don't always have the answers, but, a lot of the times, well, for my clients anyway, I do have the answers, but I don't always have the global issue answers, But once you start to pose the question, then people start to get on board to figure out the answer.
So you become the fixer.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's a meaning behind the company name?
So the company name came about because, when I started my business, the internet was already, quite large and lots of websites on it. And so it's very hard nowadays to find a unique name that is available across all platforms for consistent branding, still aligns with what you're trying to do, and then also is still available for trademarking in your industry. And so it's a cumbersome process to try to figure out what you're going to name your business, and still fall within, legality and all that stuff. So I was just sitting around a table brainstorming with some friends, and we were thinking about, okay, how can we use common words? How can we use misspellings? How can we do all of these things? And we came up with the fact that when you think smarter about running your business, you can work less and serve more. And so if we misspell the word wise, we can make a whole language about running your business wisely, right? And so then we put tribe after it just to say, a group of people who think alike, who think about wanting to make this huge impact, but not wanting to have that impact their quality of life.
Wow. That's a lot of thinking behind the name.
Yeah. I'm from Boston. We have more colleges per square foot than anywhere else in the United States. So you can see how there's a bunch of intellectuals in this state.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's for sure. But you also provide coaching services. Can you tell us about that?
I don't actually provide coaching services. So I do put together courses, but these courses are really just to prep my clients to get them ready to work with me. So I take all the common questions that people have that I get a lot, and I make them into little mini courses. So a big one that I get all the time is, what's the difference between a website and lead pages, opt-in pages, promo pages, these one-off pages that are essentially single call to action pages.
Gosh.
And why isn't my website converting and all of these things. So, built a little mini course on optimizing your conversion, built a mini course on what's the difference between websites and lead pages, built a course on how to optimize the traffic coming to your website. So all of these things are just like information on how to leverage the technology you already have in place to work more for you.
So do they have to be someone who needs to be your client to take the courses, or they can just buy the course even if they're not your client?
They can buy the course if they're not my client. Yeah. If they just need to learn a little piece of information, these are great things to learn to leverage for that aspect of your business. Sure.
Business. Mm-hmm. So now, when you support, I know you support small business. Is it like from startup to small business? And can it be anywhere in the world, or is it just within the United States?
No, so I have clients in the UK, in Canada, in all over the United States. So it can be from anywhere. Usually, when we're doing client meetings, time zones become an issue. So, so I don't have any clients in the really far away places like Asia and Australia and New Zealand. However, Europe, UK, Canada are all places that I have clients right now. Yep.
Okay. But now I'm very interested in learning more about, you live and run your business in over 20 countries in 32 states in the United States, which means you run your business from the comfort of your home and on the go. How do you achieve work-life balance to actually be able to handle all these things at once?
Yeah. So when I decided to start my business, I actually sold my $500,000 home and gave away everything I owned except what could fit in my Honda Civic at the time. And
Wow.
I just put this, message out into the universe, like, I'm ready. I want to live abroad. I want to run a company where it can fund this life of traveling, living abroad, living on the road. And so I didn't want to send out any mixed messages by having all of this stuff tying me to a location. So I actually travel full time. I don't have a home residence, which is very confusing for people. But I don't. I just I live wherever I feel like it. I like to say I travel with the sun because I like it warm. But then I realized, so while I was traveling and working, I realized I was feeling guilty all the time because I would feel guilty when I was working because I'd be in these beautiful places and I wasn't out exploring and learning about the place. I was too busy working. And then when I'd go out and explore, I'd feel guilty that I wasn't working. And so I would just feel guilty all the time.
Oh my goodness.
And so I realized that 30 days was a sweet spot for me. If I stayed in a place for 30 days, then I could become more like a resident rather than a tourist. I could work a normal work week. And then I could sightsee and explore when I wasn't working, when I felt like it, right? At night, in the mornings, on the weekends, so on and so forth.
Oh my goodness. So right now, where's your next step? I mean, like your next destination?
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. I had to come to Boston for a couple of retreats and I have a few options for where to go next. So I haven't really made my decision yet. But I'm helping some people here with their business and with Cyber Weekend. So we'll maybe make a decision after this weekend.
But what make you want to decide to do that in the first place?
So I'm a perspectives girl. I told you earlier that I, was bullied in school. And then when I went off to college and had some successes in baking, it changed my perspective. And it changed my mindset on associating bullying with being in school. And so, I have a perspective because I grew up in the United States. I have a perspective because I was in a middle-class family. I have a perspective because I'm from Boston, which has its own mini culture. and so on and so forth. When you travel, you learn about different perspectives, how people run businesses in different countries, how they run businesses in different socioeconomic levels. They give you different perspectives on the laws of different countries and how they have to work with and around these laws to be effective in business. And, when you want to have an impact, a global impact, you really have to understand things from different perspectives. And, I probably will never get to the point where I understand it from everybody's perspective, but I can certainly try.
Exactly. And you have a good idea too of the cultures and different way of doing things as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow. I wish I could do that. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. Oh my goodness. So women are still underrepresented in tech, and you are one of the few who is out there doing some great work in the area. So what are the challenges that you face, and how did you overcome them?
That's a very loaded question. Being a minority is, women in tech is a minority. And being a minority, I would imagine, I don't know because I can't be in everybody's shoes, there's similar battles to be fought and roadblocks to overcome in all the different types of situations. So even though I'm a minority in tech, men are a minority in nursing, for instance. And so I think we just need an overhaul of language, compassion, empathy, acceptance, inclusion, all of the buzzwords. We just need an overhaul, right? I mean, we've gone through stages in life where there were classes of people that didn't have the same rights as other people. And we've moved the needle, but not enough.
True.
And
yes.
And so we need to keep moving forward. And, I heard somebody recently say that when you're trying to change the world, you may never see the change you're making, but that you still have to keep pushing forward so that someday somebody sees the change that you contributed to. And it's hard when you don't see results, right? I mean, this is the difference between people with faith and people without faith is being able to see the entity that is bigger than you. And, this is a change that's bigger than any one person. And each one person may never see the results, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to make them happen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that. So the pandemic has hit every industry in a hard way. And it seems like during the pandemic also you were traveling. So how did you navigate those challenges considering that you just started your company?
Yeah. So, I feel a little guilty saying this, but the pandemic was actually good for my business because my business is technology. And so there was a fair number of companies that weren't leveraging technology pre-pandemic and needed to start as soon as it hit. I had a number of clients that had just signed on with me for one reason and then were forced to close their brick and mortars. And so then asked if they could renegotiate the contract to go in a different direction because of the pandemic. And then I brought on a bunch of new business in the same vein. And interestingly enough, now I'm seeing the first signs of the effects from the pandemic to my business, because now is when people are slowing down their spending and there's not as much help coming from the government. And so, this pandemic, even though there's, still viruses and people are still getting it, it's even bigger than that. The effects, the downstream effects, we're still feeling them. And so that, we just have to keep pivoting. We've become accustomed to this of like pivoting every time there's something major that causes us to do so. And then we also need to be proactive. So, I was re-energizing a list. I have a marketing list. And when I sent out the first email, this is a strategy you also use to prune your list, right? Of people that are, their email addresses are no longer valid. And I was surprised at how many businesses had gone out of business since I first met them. And I was just kind of browsing through the list, and I was thinking, wow, these businesses were thriving at the beginning of the pandemic. But it just goes to show you, like, you can't take your eye off the ball, right? You always have to be thinking strategically and planning and covering your bases. So you can't put all of your eggs in one basket, and I think that's one of the beauties of technology is it allows you to have multiple lanes of revenue, without being dependent on just one.
Exactly. So, now let's say that I would love to get your services.
Yeah.
So how exactly the process works?
Well, if you're looking for just courses, you can go to WyzeTribe.academy. That's a great place to just land and find our portfolio of courses that we currently have. We release a new course every month, sometimes 2 in a month.
Nice.
So it's always growing and evolving. If you're looking for done for you, I run a mini class every Tuesday and Thursday at 1:23 p.m. Eastern time. And it's called Optimizing Your Business is as Easy as 1, 2, 3. This is a great way to get 20 minutes of learning, and then 15 minutes of Q&A. So you can ask your questions. And if you want to set up a call after that, we can discuss that on the webinar. People most of the time get afraid about webinars that you're going to do this huge sales pitch. We sell our Optimize Your Success course from that webinar, but we literally spend like 2 to 5 minutes on it. It's mostly just an aspect of your business. And so today's talk is part 3 of optimizing your product suite, your portfolio, your roadmap. So we're finishing up the final class of that. And then we take these and we combine them and we create courses out of them and sell them. So it's actually a great example of reused content. And we say it right in the class, like this is an example of reused content. Gotcha. We delivered this live and now we're charging for it.
Wow. So when someone take it live, is it free or do you charge them for that?
Yeah, so we do the mini course for free. So it's completely complimentary every Tuesday and Thursday with some exceptions for holidays and things. So we are doing a class today, 1:23 p.m. Eastern time. And you can just go to WyzeTribe.eventbrite.com to sign up if you want. I hope that was okay. And then it's completely free. And we only charge once we've done all the video editing and put it into an official course and put it on our website. Yeah.
So what about the services? How do they sign up for your services?
So we like to make sure we're a good fit first. So that's why our first step is, come to one of our master classes so we can meet. If we, if you make it through the first round where, we decide, okay, there's potential here, then we can set up a consultation to talk about your current state, your future state, and, how we can help you get from here to there.
Wow. I love the work you are doing because you are I love what you're doing. It's like taking technology and then optimizing your profit. You just, usually you see one and the other one. You don't find someone doing both of them together, usually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so you just naturally keep more of your money when you optimize your business. It's just the cherry on top of your sundae, right? So you don't have to think about maximizing your profits, optimizing your profits. You think about optimizing your business, and then you just get to keep more of your money.
I love that part. I don't think any small business will not like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great side effect, right?
Yes, it is. Anything else you'd like to share with us before I let you go today?
Yeah, I just want to tell people that technology doesn't have to be expensive. They don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a website. Websites don't actually convert. They're not meant to. That's not their purpose. And so, before you dive in and take recommendations from people that are not technologists or will quote you prices that are thousands and thousands of dollars, just ask yourself, do I need this at this particular time? What goal is this helping me fulfill? And just know, like, your technology should be proportional to where you are in business, both in cost and in functionality. And there are plenty of tools on the market now that can be true. So if you don't have any income, you can use free tools for now. You'll be paying in your time rather than in money. But then you can build as you grow, and your technology should grow with you as well. So you can serve more while working less, no matter what level of business you're in.
And save money.
Yes.
So, any word of advice for women who want to get into entrepreneurship?
Oh, well. So I think the first and foremost is to decide whether or not you're a securities person, like as in I need to have a plan B, or whether you're the opposite, right? So I know that if I have a plan B, I'm not going to work as hard at plan A. So I have to go all in with plan A. But some folks are the opposite, right? They like to have the security of plan B to be able to go after plan A. So you, first and foremost, I'd say know which one you are and make sure you have that in place. And then there are some things that you can do before you quit your job to set you up for success. And I would say you can start that a year before you quit your job, right? And the way to optimize this is to start by hiring some virtual assistants to do that work for you, so you can focus on your job and just take a little bit of your paycheck that you're currently getting to put towards these virtual assistants that are not very expensive. And they can build the foundation for your business before you ever walk out of your corporate job.
I love that idea. Best advice ever. I have to say, Melanie, best advice ever. I appreciate you taking the time to have the conversation with me and sharing your knowledge. And I love what you're doing. Seriously, I do. It's different. And when I was browsing your website, learning about you, I'm like, this is so different. How come no one else ever think of it before?
Because I was meant to.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure, being here, talking to you and all that you're doing. And you have some great questions. So it's been a delight chatting with you.
Wow, I just love having great conversation with other female founders. It's just amazing to hear their stories, how they get started, and more importantly, how they are helping people in this world. Thank you, Melanie, for taking the time to have this conversation with me. Let me know your thoughts about this episode with Melanie. And to learn more about Melanie in WyzeTribe, visit www.wyzetribe.com. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.